Even though it has been a bit of time since the first season of the Ahsoka series wrapped, this is a topic that I knew I wanted to make a video about ever since the finale hit Disney+. If you've seen some of my other videos regarding the Ahsoka finale, then I've mentioned the Mortis gods a few times and how they seem to be crucial to the story going forward. The Ahsoka series finale ended with a short scene of Baylan Skoll overlooking the Peridea horizon, standing atop three statues. Even though they haven't appeared many times, if you've seen the Clone Wars or Rebels animated series, then the statues should be familiar to you. The statues depict the Mortis gods, also known as the Ones. These gods were powerful Force wielders who embody the light and dark side of the Force. The Father represents the balance between the light and the dark sides, with his role being to maintain the equilibrium between his two children, the daughter and the son. The daughter embodies the light side of the Force and is committed to maintaining peace and balance, whereas the son embodies the dark side of the Force and seeks to dominate and control. The Mortis arc, where the characters were first introduced into canon, explores the idea of balance in the Force and the destinies of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Ahsoka Tano. The events on Mortis are somewhat mystical and symbolic, providing insight into the broader mythology of the Star Wars universe. It's important to note that Mortis is a unique realm, and the events that transpire there have a specific, isolated significance within the Clone Wars storyline, but it does end with all three gods supposedly dead. Although, can you ever keep a good god down? That's just a brief overview of the characters and what we've gotten from them so far in canon, but if you want to see more, I'd recommend checking out the Clone Wars Season 3 arc, or leave something in the comments and I can make a video going more in depth in the future. What's important to know is that they are very powerful beings in the Force, and their inclusion at the end of the Ahsoka series as the statues on Peridea is no accident. They're ancient beings, so we don't know how long these statues have been on the planet, who built them, or what the Mortis gods were up to before we met them in the Clone Wars. One thing is for certain though, they are going to be crucial to the story going forward. Although a second season of Ahsoka hasn't been confirmed as of now, it does seem very likely. And even if the story isn't continued in that series, the stories of Ahsoka, Sabine, Baylan, and Shin are not over by a long shot based on the way the series concluded. The series ended with pretty much all of the characters that we started with stranded on Peridea now. Ahsoka and Sabine are left behind after being unable to stop Thrawn from escaping, although Ezra is able to make it back to the known galaxy with him. Shin remains on Peridea as a member of the Nomads, although we don't know if she stayed there by choice or if she was unable to make it back in time. Morgan Elsbeth was killed by Ahsoka, with her dead body still probably resting atop that temple. And then Baylan chooses to stay on Peridea and search out for whatever powerful force is calling out to him in the new galaxy. His character really is the main connection to the Mortis gods in the story. We don't know how Baylan's story will continue, whether he'll be recast for a second season or continued in books and comics instead, but I don't see Filoni and Lucasfilm leaving us on that cliffhanger forever. The only scene we got from Baylan in the finale was a big one, as it showed the fallen Jedi standing atop the Father's outstretched arm, pointing to something in the distance. The scene sparked a rampage of theories across the fandom, but there's one in particular that I've gotten behind. It seems very likely that this is setting up Abeloth in the future. Abeloth was another one of the Mortis gods from Legends, filling out the family as the mother. I've already made a video briefly going over her character and the role she could play in the future, but for the sake of the video, Abeloth first lived as the Servant, a mortal woman who served the powerful ones over 100,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Throughout her life, she became the mother. She kept the peace between the father's warring son and daughter. However, she was still mortal, and fearing that she would lose her precious family, she drank from the font of power and bathed in the pool of knowledge. Her actions corrupted her, transforming the mother into the twisted, immortal entity known as Abeloth, which also gave her her dark side powers and immortality. Thus, the father, son, and daughter assumed the role of imprisoning her to guard the Force. In canon, it would appear that Peridea now serves as Abeloth's prison. The light that Baylan saw on the distant mountain seems to be a heavily scaled-down version of the Maw, with its pulsing at regular intervals mirroring how the event horizon of a black hole appears. There are two directions that the story could go with Abeloth. First, Abeloth is the one calling to Baylan in the new galaxy. That's the new power he senses, and whether he's doing it willingly or under some sort of force manipulation, he plans to set her free and start the galaxy anew. The other would be that Baylan was lured to Peridea in order to stop Abeloth from escaping. In order to keep her imprisoned, there would need to be the three Mortis gods, but we saw them all die in the Clone Wars arc. We do know that the daughter continues to live in Ahsoka, as the daughter sacrificed herself as she was dying to transfer her life essence into Ahsoka to bring her back to life. Although it hasn't been brought up often, the fact that Mora continues to follow Ahsoka around, even now in the new galaxy, shows that the daughter's Force essence is still there. It's safe to assume that if we got a new trio of Mortis gods, Ahsoka would serve the role of the daughter, although the decapitated statue could mean bad things for her future on Pridia. In the Clone Wars arc, the Jedi were brought to Mortis because the father was looking for Anakin to replace his position as the father, to keep the balance between the son and daughter. Although he turned it down to return to fight in the war, we did see Anakin's Force Ghost at the end of the Ahsoka series. It would make sense for him to fill that Mortis God role as the father. We know he's powerful enough, he was in the Clone Wars, and while we don't know exactly what comes with being a Force Ghost, we can assume he's either at that level or higher. If this were the case, then Anakin would be the one calling to Baylan. It takes all three of the Mortis gods to contain Abeloth, so while he has Ahsoka on Pridia now, he would need someone to fill the role of the son. Although Baylan doesn't have the same godly status that could be brought on Anakin and Ahsoka, all it would take is the font of power to bring him up to that level, which was located on the side of the volcano inside Abeloth's cave in Legends, which would be what Baylan is looking at in the finale. While Anakin has the light and dark to be the father, and Ahsoka the light, Baylan would fit with the son because he does have the dark side, but in comparison to someone like Palpatine, he's not consumed or corrupted by it. He's still in control enough to be rational in some sense. It's hard to say exactly what route they'll take, but if we are to take inspiration from Star Wars Legends, it would most certainly appear that Abeloth is on the way to canon. It's only a matter of if Baylan is there to help or harm, to guard or set free. Let me know what you think the future holds in the comments below. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos, and remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.